Hello and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Last time we got to the first major choice in the storyline. Namely, Makina asked Yuuji to become her father in a term of protective sense and more of a being there, and offered him money in order to be so, essentially offering him a job. This route, this series of videos, is going to follow Makina's route. So, if you are playing this yourself and you want to go for Makina as the girl you wish Yuuji to sort of dig into the past, it would be wrong to say that he is hooking up with the girl. He is, but that's more a result of them being closer together, getting to know each other better. But I would say the main point of getting to choose a girl's storyline is to know her backstory, and essentially knowing then in the big picture, knowing them all sort of gives you an idea of what is going on with Mihamar Academy. So the format is going to be pretty much the same. We're going to run for about 30 minutes, roughly 2 chapters depending on how they are set up. I'm going to warn you already now. The branching stories turn up because they go into people with psychological issues and traumatic backgrounds. The story amps up in what could be allowed for persons. Any nudity, of course, is edited out because it's the Steam basic version, which means that it's unpatched, it's safe. But if there is anything, I will of course edit it out and censor it so that it shouldn't offend anyone. However, there's probably also going to be some bloodshed. And while some of it might seem excessive, YouTube is a bit on sort of an edge about this. If it's realistic blood and such, they tend to not be okay with it if it is in excessive means, or if there's shown direct killings and such. YouTube isn't too happy with that. However, when it comes to drawn things, such as the images in a visual novel or such, YouTube tends to be more accepting towards it. Well, anyway, we shall see. So, we want to choose accept the money. If you want to obtain something, be prepared to lose something in exchange. That's the way the world works. Makina wants to use her money to buy me. Might as well let her. It's not like my life has that much value to me in the first place. I glance at the crumpled bills clutched in Makina's hand. 86,000 yen. Seems like a bit too much of a bargain any way you slice it. Sorry, Makina, but I'm pretty damn expensive. This isn't even close to enough. Give it up. Ooh, not enough? Like I said, I got more money. Makina reaches back into her pocket and takes out a lumpy, hairy purse, roughly resembling a mutant frog. Hold on a sec, okay? Makina's purse is packed full of tinfoil from sticks of gum and half-eaten bits of chocolate. Among the crumpled bills and dirty loose change, there's also a single credit card she carelessly tossed inside. Just how many cards do you have? Just the bare minimum. Hold this for a sec, okay? Hey, hold on. This thing is... Ooh, I like that bass. Mysterious. The credit card Makina casually hands to me is jet black. It's not made of plastic either. It seems to be some sort of lightweight metal. Maybe titanium alloy? The name of a huge overseas credit company is etched deeply into the surface of the credit card. Probably by laser. Is this one of those exclusive black cards I've heard about? If I remember correctly, this isn't something just any rich person can get their hands on. It's proof you have a major account in an institution registered with the Swiss Bankers Association, or something comparable. Hold on, Makina. Why do you have this card? Ah, there it is. Knew it. I knew this sucker was in here somewhere. Makina shouts wildly in triumph. She's got something like a checkbook grasped firmly in her hand. On closer inspection, I spot the name of a foreign bank on the cover. Well, like I said, I don't really have the cash on me right now. Is a check okay? Listen, slow down for a second. That said, I ain't got that much money I can spend freely. 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, million. Counting off zeros in an off-pitch sing-songy rhythm, Makina scratches down a number onto a check. This probably is the absolute best I can do. Is it enough? With a carefree smile, Makina thrust out the slip of paper toward me. For a moment I'm completely stunned. It's a check of 70 million yen. Are you serious? As I run my eyes over the check again and again, I feel a sticky, unpleasant sweat begin to seep out of the back of my head. This is absurd. You could build a hell of a nice house for yourself with this kid's pocket money. Even if I exercise my option and keep working my current job right until the retirement age, I don't know if I'll ever save up this much. So do we have us a deal? Wait. This is way too much money. I mean, is this thing even real? I don't remember even taking the check from Makina, but it's in my hand. I hold it up to the light of the sun and peer through it. There's a typical watermark inside the paper. The check itself looks like it was issued by a genuine financial institution. It's a lot of money at once, so I think they'll probably hit you pretty hard on the handling fees if you cash it on the spot. Might be better to just make an account at the bank for it. But these days there's also some companies who don't charge too much for that sort of thing, so you might want to look around for a bit before you make up your mind. Why do you have this sort of money? Well, my mom gave it to me. That's allowance for life, you see. Look, you can't just give it to me. Why not? You're my papa as today, right? Just give me an allowance for what I need. I see. Hold on a second here. Why am I starting to go along with this? Well, I mean, I do get the feeling that leaving Makina to manage this money for herself, it won't necessarily end well. But why exactly do I have to take care of her finances? Alright, I guess that's the natural thing for a father to do. Wait, hold on. I didn't agree to any of this yet, did I? If that's still not enough, I don't know what else to do. As she speaks, Makina clasps her hand behind her back and begins to squirm around shyly. I follow her gaze toward a secluded thicket. The hell? Is she seriously proposing a quick go in the bushes? I mean, what? How did she get this idea in her head? Amane? Probably Amane, I think. I think I need to have a good talk with that woman. Oh. How many sighs would this be today? I've lost count. Well, whatever. Fine, I'll allow you to buy me. Wait. Weigh yourself. As of today, I'm your father. I'll hold on to this money. And I'll make up the rest in bed? That won't be necessary. It's just me, or is that kind of let down? Rest assured, it's just you. Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, Makina. I drop my hands onto Makina's thin, fragile shoulders and stare her square in the face. I accepted this job, so I'm going to carry it out, but I'm going to do it my way. And my approach might not always correspond exactly with the ideal father you've been imagining. As your father, there's only one thing I can promise you. Even if everyone else in the world becomes your enemy, I'll always protect you. Then, Oni-chan, you're my papa from now on? That's what I'm saying. Sure. What? Makina falls forward into my arms, the tension draining from her body like a taut string that's finally snapped. I see. All along, this girl wanted a guardian more than anything else in the world. Of course, she had Amane and none of her classmates would ever hurt her, but even so, something was missing. Something like family. A person who would love her unconditionally. A person who would keep her safe no matter what. A father. She was searching for a long time, but when she finally found a suitable candidate, she didn't know what to do next. In the end, she clumsily threw everything she had in the world at my feet. Makina's lifetime allowance, 70 million yen. Certainly not a small chunk of change, but the amount isn't relevant in this case. She offered me everything, absolutely everything. Unfortunately, I don't have to think too hard about how to answer that desperate gesture. I'll just do anything and everything I can for her. If that's enough for Makina, there's no reason to second guess myself. I don't have to rack my brains about this job. It's nice that way. Simple, easy to understand, well suited to an idiot like me. And so, as of today, I've become Makina's father. So you see, the chapters haven't changed, the music haven't changed, the settings don't change yet. So in that case, it's pretty much the same still. It's just more centered around the girl that you have chosen as a branch option, of course. Old habits die hard. When entering a building, I count the number of exits. When walking through town, every once in a while, I stop abruptly and look behind me. Running every morning is practically reflex by now, as is rigging my door before I leave. Spend much time in a job like mine and you'll naturally acquire many small habits like these. Pointless as they may seem, every once in a while they'll save your life. This morning, as usual, I stuck a bit of tape in an inconspicuous spot under the door on my way out. It's a simple precaution against the arrival of intruders in my absence. But in this particular case, the intruders left behind such brazen signs of their entry as to render my little trick completely absurd. Not the most pleasant way to start the day.
Ah, welcome back, father. I got breakfast ready.
Makina, so this was your work after all?
Which kind of yogurt do you want? Aloe, blueberry, or apple?
I'll take the blueberry.
Okay then, I'll get that for you on the double. Just sit yourself down and wait, okay?
My low coffee table is partially occupied by a plate of formidable sandwiches. Ham, cheese, lettuce, stuffed between dark, tough-looking chunks of rye bread. There's also a carton of milk and a plastic bottle of iced coffee. Surprisingly decent spread, considering Makina is the one who prepared it. I pour a glass of milk and gulp it down. So tell me, Makina, was it you who blasted through my door?
What?
The lock on my door's been destroyed. I'm asking me if you're responsible.
Oh, right. I mean, what else was I supposed to do? It was locked.
Amane has a spare key, doesn't she?
And my niece was still sleeping. I would have felt bad about waking her. And I'm not the one who broke it, you know. It was Sachin that done the deed.
I see. Sachi, eh? I did vaguely suspect her involvement from that ends justify the means approach to breaking and entering. Broken doesn't really describe the state of my door, actually. Melted might be a better word. Specifically, brute force application of extreme heat have left a gaping hole where my lock used to be. At first I thought they'd busted out an oxyacetylene torch or something, but then I noticed the discarded coffee can lying on the ground nearby. Its contents, a black lump resembling iron oxide, and a metallic white powder. Give that woman 2 years of training and she'd fit right in with the IRA. Imagining Sachi kneeling beside the door in full maid uniform, silently setting up her homemade explosive, the joke doesn't seem particularly funny.
Not to worry, Sachin's gonna go to the hardware store after school and buy you a new lock.
If you're going to repair it, then how about not breaking it in the first place?
It's your fault not for giving me a key.
Look at you playing the clingy girlfriend, cheeky brat.
What the heck? Look here, bub. Your adorable little daughter's waiting for you with breakfast, you know. Aren't you happy?
Well, I suppose.
I see how it is. You like big titties after all, huh? You want some savorless husley wearing nothing but an apron, prancing around first thing in the morning with one fat otter sagging out the side?
Hey now, I'm going to kick your ass if she heard that.
In the first place, you're not living up to your role as a father here. When your daughter's waiting to welcome you back, ain't you at least supposed to say, I'm home? Maybe give her a little kiss?
Is that how it works? Sorry, I'm not too knowledgeable when it comes to this particular role.
Alright, in that case I guess I'll have to teach you. Okay, we're gonna redo this from the part where you came home.
What a pain in the ass.
Quit your bitching! Toss open that door and say, I'm back, Makina, Daddy's home.
Fine, stop screaming, will you? Why do I have to participate in some surreal skit first thing in the damn morning? Might I, by some chance, have adopted something of a problem child? Irrepressible unease sent thick drops of sweat trickling down my forehead, very different from the pleasant perspiration I worked up while running. My chill blood sinks heavily to the bottom of my feet like a lump of lead. But since I accept this responsibility, I can't do a half-assed job of it. If Makina wants me to play this character for her, I suppose duty demands that I do so. After pausing briefly After pausing briefly to exhale, I reach out and grab the half-melted doorknob. I'm back, Makina. Daddy's home.
Welcome home, Papa.
A huge smile stretched across her face. Makina spreads her arms open wide and takes a step toward me. Probably scheming to throw herself full force into my chest, I hold out my hands to catch the girl and blunt the impact, but in that very instant, Makina momentarily disappears from my field of vision. What the? Before I have the time to react, I suffer a powerful blow to my lower abdomen, right around the solar plexus. Impossible. How did she? The breath being knocked out of my lungs and my eyeballs are wobbling in their sockets like a drunken marines in an earthquake, but somehow I manage to turn my gaze down. Makina's fuzzy little head is firmly lodged in my gut. A slide, dash. As I crumble to my knees, Makina scampers nimbly up onto my body, wraps her arms around the back of my head like a Muay Thai fighter boxer preparing to deliver a knee kick, and then Mwah! Smashes her lips against mine with the force and speed of a spear thrust. Blah! Ugh. Our teeth knock against each other with an audible thunk. I reflexively try to pull myself away, but Makina isn't about to allow that. Swiftly coiling her ankles around the back of my knees, she leans all of her body weight forward in an effort to push me down. Struggling to resist Makina's stubborn hold, I brace my abdominal muscles and try to keep myself still. But with my lower body completely disabled, the girl's 40-kilo mass is too much to support. She quickly pins me to the ground. Makina, what the hell are you doing?
What do you mean? It's just your welcome home kiss.
Wait, hold on. Isn't this a little wrong? I mean, this isn't quite what I imagine when you say a welcome home kiss. I was thinking more, I don't know, a smack on the cheek or something, right? In any case, I've got to peel the girl off of me. I reach out blindly. My hands end up touching Makina's chest.
No, Papa, you perv.
This girl never wears any damn underwear, does she? Not that the thought really does much for me. Still, it's not so bad having this ridiculously warm little body on top of mine. A little sweaty, but kind of pleasant in a way. Sometimes irritating, sometimes soothing. Might this be what familial love is? As Makina maintains her noisy assault on my tonsils, I softly slip an arm around her back. The girl's so slender it feels like she might snap if I embrace her too forcefully. Holding her light little body in my arms stirs up powerful protective feelings. Makina. I can't do much, but if nothing else, surely I can manage to keep an idiotic grin on my face, on the face of one irritating sweet little girl. This is what I need to protect. I feel like I'm starting to understand. Not just the meaning of those words, but also the raw emotion they signify. Covered in her spit, warm affectionate feelings from the bizarre beast, Kasami Yuuji. Well, it felt like a haiku was warranted, but I didn't manage to work up any seasonal words in there, not my finest efforts. But just as I'm smiling at the thought, events take an unanticipated turn. Specifically, a sharp knocking at the door, followed immediately by... Am I interrupting something? A question delivered in a fairly harsh tone of voice. Amane?
What?
Here I was wondering where Makina had gotten to, so this is what you were up to, eh? Very interesting. Big sis didn't see this coming, no sir.
Hey, hold on a sec. It's not like there was any funny business going on, you know? It was just a little, family bonding. We weren't doing anything naughty.
What's wrong, Makina? I'm not mad or anything.
Really?
Yep, not mad. At you. More importantly, why don't you take a look at the clock?
It's late. This late already? I gotta change my uniform and get ready for school.
Yep, guess so. Why don't you head back to your room and get changed? Then, I got a little something to discuss with your big brother here. Amanda flutters her hand in the air in the classic shoo-shoo gesture. Makina bites her lower lip, then peers up at Amanda's face with upturned eyes.
Do you promise not to scold him too much?
Who, me? Scold Yuuji? Haha, perish the thought. Just want to ask him a few questions, that's all. Come on, run along. You don't need to get dressed, okay?
Okay.
Cowering like a kitten under the glare of a German shepherd, Makina inches backward. 1 step, then 2. And the instant she's clear of Amana's potential attack range, the girl turns on her heel and bursts into an all-out retreat. As she watches her young friend scamper off to safety, Amana folds her arm under her breast and slowly swings her head from side to side, producing sharp little cracking sounds. When she finally speaks, her tone is somewhat exasperated. Alright then, mind explaining what that was all about, Oni-chan? Nothing to explain, just like you saw. Also, it's not Oni-chan anymore. I was promoted to Papa as of yesterday. Excuse me? Sorry, I'm afraid I don't quite follow. Then I'll explain. Take a seat. After settling across the table from Amani, I explained the lay of the land in between bites of sandwich. First of all, the events surrounding Makina's mysterious message yesterday afternoon. Secondly, the way I felt after learning of the girl's desperate desire for her father. And finally, how I'm planning to interact with Makina from now on. Well, I more or less understand what you're saying here, but what does any of this have to do with you kissing Makina again? We're father and daughter now. Surely a kiss isn't anything out of the ordinary. No. Well, a kiss on the cheek maybe? Rolling around on the ground and passionately tongue wrestling, normally not so much, right? That's so. Unfortunately, I don't have a too firm grasp of the appropriate standard of normality here. Right. I guess normal might be a little tricky in your case. Anyway, what I regard as normal doesn't seem to coincide with what Makina wants from me. To be honest with you, I don't really understand what it means to be a father. I'm basically playing it by ear for now. That said, I made Makina a promise, so I intend to do everything I possibly can. I may not have any decent examples to work off, but I do remember the perfect dad I imagined as a child. I'll try to become a father like that. What sort of father would that be? Let's see. Kind but strict, has the answer to any question, teaches his child everything they need to know, a reliable, steady presence. I never betray her, and she comes before everything else. She can sleep on my lap without a care in the world. That's the sort of father I want to be. I see. If you're taking it that seriously, I guess I'll keep my big nose out of this. Oh? That was a lot easier than I expected. Well, I mean, I knew that girl needed a father figure in her life, and I guess I sort of had the feeling it might turn out like this eventually. You know how Makina's always wearing that one pair of boots, the brown core Red Wing PT91s with the knife pocket? Those things are pretty beat up by now, but they were a favorite of mine. Liked them so much I replaced the soles so I could keep wearing them, and the heels, twice. But when Makina said she had to have them, I handed them over. When that girl asks for something, I just can't manage to turn her down. What you're trying to say? I guess I've recognized that Makina needs you. Is that girl ever going to stop snatching things away from me? Amanda scratches loudly at her head in a vaguely rueful gesture. But just because you're a dad now doesn't mean you're a couple, does it? Right. That's not exactly what being a father involves. So I still have a chance, right? Like I said, I'm putting Makina first from now on. You're only going to make yourself miserable if you don't accept that. So what if someone becomes happy, someone else has to end up sad? So what? If someone else becomes happy, someone else has to end up become sad? Why not spread the happiness around instead? Makina and I can just share you. Share me? How would that work exactly? I'm not a planarian. Cutting me in half won't accomplish much. Easy enough. Since you're becoming Makina's dad, I can just be her mom. That was loud in my headphones. What? The sandwich I had carried halfway to my mouth nearly drops out of my hand. What the? Hold on. Are you a genius? Huh? I don't think I said anything that impressive. I had been prepared to sacrifice everything else for Makina's sake, but I see. To be certain, your daughter and your wife are two entirely different matters. A shameful oversight on my part. Amanda's right. A parent exists in the context of a partnership. Surely a real family isn't such a fragmentary thing. Everyone has their role to play as a piece in the larger puzzle. The one who scolds and the one who comforts. The lecturer and the healer. The protector and the rebel. Surrounded by diverse examples and exposed to various opinions, the children slowly choose their own path. That's probably what a family should be. How could I miss such a simple thing? I'm already a failure as a father. Well, that said, it's not like I can really become her mother. Wouldn't really be much more than a make-believe game. A game, huh? Then again, at our age it can be easier to get serious about a game than the real thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. My master said something similar when she adopted me. It's not like I can ever be a real family to you, but sometimes fake families can grow closer than the genuine article precisely because they are pretending. Like in the military where the CO's the father, the XO's your mother, and your squad leader's the big brother. Sometimes the trust and unity among such groups can be stronger than in a true family. I suppose that makes me the CO of this fledgling division, bearing total responsibility, burdened with the authority to send his pseudo-children to the death for sure for the cause. A man who, if driven by necessity, may be left with no choice but to issue just such an order. It seems I was still viewing this responsibility too lightly. Well, try not to go overboard. It's all well and good to take things seriously, but make sure you don't confuse your actual responsibility with your sense of responsibility. Responsibility and my sense of responsibility? What the? I feel like I've heard that line before somewhere. Something wrong? No, it's nothing. In any case, for the moment, I think you should be a little less worried about Makina's future and a little more worried about yourself. Sorry, what's that supposed to mean? I'm a very understanding woman, as you know, but I can't say how the other girls are going to take this. The other girls? What, our classmates? Is me becoming Makina's father going to cause some sort of problem with them? Did you seriously think otherwise? You know, you may be weirdly talented at handling women, but you're criminally oblivious when it comes to this sort of thing. A certain incident comes to mind from back in the days when I was still a genuine brat, thoroughly unversed in the ways of women. One morning, JB was clearly feeling poorly. Considerate young man that I was, I proceeded to badger her throughout breakfast about the nature of her distress, ultimately leading to an enraged bellow of, "What do you think?" and a thoroughly unpleasant day for the both of us. Amane, my friend, are you referring to some variety of menstrual difficulties? Oh my god, are you for real? I guess that's a no. Well, expecting a man such as myself to divine the subtle workings of the female mind is the height of folly. But in any case, Amane's suggestion that I have something to worry about just doesn't feel convincing. Ever since I was a child, people have been telling me that I think too much. But even I can't see any need to waste my time pondering this. And so I decided to become Makina's father. I like how they all changed at the same time. Sachi has an ability to just look so surprised. Dropping my hand onto Makina's head with a thump, I draw my frank, casual announcement to a close. In that instant, the very air of the classroom seems to freeze solid. Sakaki's expression is so befuddled it seems clear that her mind hasn't fully processed the meaning of my words. Michiru's wide-open eyes are full of unspoken questions regarding my sanity. The brush in Sachi's hand running through Michiru's hair only a moment ago has come to an abrupt halt. Her mouth lies slightly ajar as if stuck halfway through a question. Although all three have distinctively different reactions, they share one common feature: a long moment of silence. It lasts perhaps 10 seconds before Michiru finally manages to speak. Excuse me? What the heck are you saying? Didn't you hear? Alright, I'll repeat myself one more time. Withdrawing my hand from Makina's fuzzy head, I clasp my arm behind my back and breathe in a heavy lungful of air. No. I heard just fine. It's just, I don't really get what you mean. I meant exactly what I said. That's not really helping. What? Allow me to summarize. Kasami Yuuji is now Iri Sumakinu's man, so the rest of your bums better keep your stinking paws off from him from now on. And so arrives the second moment of utter silence. Of course, I've actually become Makina's father, and the term man strikes me as a fairly inexact analog in this context. But then again, it's not like this is the first time Makina has displayed a lack of linguistic competence. Hardly worth correcting every little slip of that stubby little tongue. After all, these girls have known Makina longer than me, so I'm sure they can grasp her actual meaning without any need for my interpretation. Oh, Yuuji. Ah, so that's how it is. Most likely words along these lines will bring this discussion to an end and will shift onto some other trivial topic like always. But my expectation proves somewhat off the mark. In a simultaneous movement that almost seems choreographed, Sakaki, Michiru, and Sachi turn their heads to stare at Amane, currently standing by with her arms folded and a wry smile on her face. Why look at me?
Well, I mean, come on.
The man just declared he's going to become her father. I mean, the legal formalities alone. I don't think it's quite that official. More like an extended game of make-believe or something. You know, like, I'll be your mommy, Makina, or whatever. Playing house, almost. Ah, is that the nature of the situation? Now I understand. But I must say, daddy role-playing strikes me as a rather extreme choice.
Huh? I'm pretty dang serious about this. And Papa said he'd protect me with the whole world turning against me, you know.
Yep, that I did.
And you meant it, right?
Of course. Makina's gazing up at me, clear anxiety in her eyes. I drop my hands onto her shoulders and nod firmly. There's no problem, I'm going to take care of you from now on. Back in the old days, when I asked my master a similar question, she gave me an answer along these lines. Drop me in the worst hellhole on earth with nothing but a rusty knife and I'll still come back alive. I'm an ultra-high-powered piece of national defense equipment with the nerve and skill to single-handedly annihilate thousands of terrorists. And I'll use everything I have to raise you into a full-blown adult. You don't need to worry about a thing. But even so, I don't want her to experience the hardships I've known. Is this what they call parental love?
Yeah, thanks, Papa. Squeezy!
Shrieking out her own sound effect like a complete airhead, Makina wraps her arms around my waist and hugs me tightly.
Okay then, I'll be Makina's mom. Squeezy!
At this point, for some reason, Amane decides to seize hold of my left arm and smother it between her oversized memories. Ah, I see. I see at last. In that case, I shall become Makitan's servant. Squeezy! Seizing the moment, Sachi firmly grabs my right arm and likewise squeezes it against her chest. Hey now. A number of inquiries and complaints regarding this development run through my mind, but I'm discreet enough to keep them to myself. Carefully maintaining her vice-like grip, Sachi meets my exasperated gaze with upturned eyes as clear and expressionless as glass beads. Yes? And stares back at me with the cold pupils of a woman who isn't prepared to take no for an answer. Her voice may be calm, but I've learned from experience that Sachi is astonishingly stubborn when she gets that look in her eyes. Pointing out that Makina's servant would probably be clinging to Makina. Probably won't get me out of this. Having a maid around the house is extremely convenient, you know. In particular, I'm exceptionally handy at opening stubborn bags of potato chips. You'll save yourself a lot of stress. Every family needs one. If you say so. Rather than keeping a maid around for that, I think it'd be wiser to buy a pair of scissors at the 100 yen shop. But I can already see the conversation developing into a debate on the merits of conspicuous consumption. How ridiculous.
Huh? Aren't you going to play a house with us, Sakaki-san?
Ignoring Amane's teasing voice, Sakaki stalks imperiously back to her seat, where she begins retrieving and arranging her textbooks. Of course, Sakaki never was the type to roll along with this sort of light-hearted farce, and she's far too proud to initiate an attempt at a compromise. And what about you, Michiru-sama? Caught off guard by the sudden question, Michiru emits an undignified little grunt.
What do you expect me to do? More importantly, when is Casanova here going to stop drooling over his little harem?
Do I really look like I'm enjoying this to you? I didn't ask these three to amuse themselves by making a toy out of me. Quite the opposite, actually. My imprisonment in this mess of flesh is quickly turning into sweltering territory. But just as I'm about to point out that the break is going to end soon, Sachi's grip on my arm grows even stronger. You still don't understand me, Michiru-sama.
What are you talking about?
The time has come, the moment to unleash your Dearest. Gah! At such a forceful declaration, Michiru's body quivers as though struck by lightning. Grasping her upper arms to keep herself from shaking, she averts her eyes in shock. But... Why are you hesitating? Come, let us walk the road of Dearest together. Her face utterly earnest, Sachi nods gravely to herself, then glances around the area thoughtfully. We don't have a dog, do we?
A dog?
Indeed, a happy family can't do without a pet dog. Keeping an animal is an unmistakable symbol of a comfortably situated household, though through raising their pet, the children learn empathy and compassion for the weak. And as those children reach adolescence, their beloved companion provides one final somber lesson: all that lives must, in its time, die. Fortuitously enough, Makina once stated her desire for a white dog. I believe your services are now called in for precisely that role.
So you're telling me I should pretend to be a dog? You're asking me to become the family pet and cuddle up to Yuuji?
As Michiru tentatively summarizes the nature of her situation, Sachi nods a silent affirmation. I am exceptionally gratified to see that you grasp the matter so quickly, Michiru-sama. Come now, bark for me. A woof will do nicely. Then you may proceed to yip and yap adorably, all the while clinging tightly to Kasami-san's legs.
Gah.
Not grr, woof. There's no time to spare for such bashful hesitation. The time has come to put your mettle to the test. Show us the determination of one who has voluntarily cast aside the very concept of retreat, the indomitable will of the tsundere. Come. Beads of greasy sweat rolling down her forehead. Michiru emits a pitiful hoarse groan. You sure are driving her into a corner, Sachan. Just look at that face. You can practically see all these contradictory principles swirling around inside her head. Poor girl looks about ready to vomit. Well, there's the bell. All right, you lot, we got class. What did we have next again?
Huh? Wait up.
Next up is everyone's favorite, classical literature. Let's all do our best not to doze off. Oh, goodness, Makina fell asleep. I did think she was awfully quiet down there. Shall I wake her? Yeah, if you would. Of course, please leave it to me. It may come as something of a surprise, but I'm well known for my natural ability to rouse children from even the deepest slumber. Not sure if that's the best talent for a maid to have. Maki-chan, wake up. Class is starting.
Yeah, food time.
We just had breakfast a little while ago, remember? It's like watching an old man in the grips of dementia being gently chided by his long-suffering daughter-in-law. With some effort, Sachi succeeds in peeling Makina off me. Sliding both arms under the limp little creature's armpits, she begins to drag her off like a medic putting a wounded grunt to cover.
Wait a second, Sachi.
Yes, what can I do for you?
Don't give me that, come on! What are you going to do about this?
I'm sorry, what exactly are you referring to? And more importantly, what do you want me to do about it?
Gah!
Gah isn't clear enough. Please concretely specify what sort of compensation you desire in regards to what. Well? It seems you are unable to coherently express the nature of your irritation. I quite understand. Such is the very essence of today's wayward youth. But there's no need to fret. At times like these, one need only torment the weak. If you find yourself at a loss for a suitable receptacle in which to lodge your clenched fist, I'll gladly volunteer my cheeks. Will that suffice to dispel your existential rage for another day? Then by all means, strike me.
Wah!
Ah, Michiru-sama, where are you going? Class will be starting any moment.
Why don't you let her be for the moment? I'm not sure I entirely understand, but the girl seems to have been hurt somehow.
It's a difficult age, isn't it? I don't think that was the issue here. Shaking her head in sorrowful disappointment, Sachi proceeds to drag Makina off. Things took a rapid turn for the manic, so I'm not entirely confident we've reached a common understanding. But for the time being, I've relayed the news of my new position as Makina's father to our classmates. That said, it's too early to rest. There's someone else I need to file a report with. Honestly speaking, this one probably should have come first. Well, we will take this report in the next episode of The Fruit of Grisaia, Makina's route. So until then, take care.